We'll start close by for a highly anticipated bout between State College Area High School and Downingtown East. Bald Eagle dominated Phillipsburg Osceola 49-0 to improve to 6-1. Penn Staters and Broncos fans alike were loving KJ Hamler after he made the game-winning touchdown this past week. Jahan Dotson is going to beat 1,000 receiving yards on the season in this game. It's just a matter of how much he does it by. But who will be taking the snaps for the Nittany Lions on Saturday is still up in the air. But the Illini might be without their starting QB as well. These students took it upon themselves to show their Penn State pride at the sports that needed it most. Let's start off in Glasgow, where I looked into one of the oldest and most bitter rivalries in sports history and how it's changed over the last decade. Based on those reactions, it's safe to say that Women in Sports Night will be a staple for Tom Sock seasons to come. Buffalo fans are loving that the Bills are starting the season 4-0 for the first time since 2008. Penn State will be back in action in Beaver Stadium for their homecoming matchup against Illinois. Who will be under center for the Nittany Lions is yet to be determined.
They're no human beings, they're vermin.
I've no feelings for them whatsoever. I don't even like to mention them.
I can't stand them. I just can't stand them.
Don't feel anything. Yeah.
You love a bit of a rivalry, and Rangers and Celtic's probably one of the biggest rivals in all of football.
Welcome to the most bitter rivalry in sports, Celtic Rangers. The hatred between the two football clubs that share the city of Glasgow runs deep. The two clubs are by far the most successful clubs in Scotland. As of 2021, both have won the title over 50 times, while no other club has won the title more than 4. The Rangers and Celtic have faced off over 400 times, and a history of violence and chaos plagues the matchup.
So the city centre wouldn't have been a good place to be walking about wearing emerald green last Sunday, that's for sure. There were incidents, there were assaults.
Known as Old Firm Derby for over 100 years, the rivalry changed forever in 2012 when Rangers got into financial trouble under their previous owner.
And then they were liquidated. And the rules in Scottish football are that you're not the same club. And you have to start again. And you have to go down to the lower echelons of league football in Scotland.
The Rangers worked their way back up to the Scottish Premier League by 2016, and a rivalry that grew out of religion, Catholic Celtic and Protestant Rangers, have found new things to fight about.
Well, indeed, it's a different club.
Rangers are the same club, there's no doubt in my mind about that. It's the same supporters, it's the same colour, it's the same ground. And actually all this debate, I just find it incredibly juvenile.
They're not the same team anymore, so it's changed completely. They're not the same club, they say they are, but that's 150 years now, I think. They're 10 years old.
They seem to think Rangers are a new team. Well, we've just celebrated the 150th birthday party at the weekend.
A reasonable person, now, I'm a Celtic fan, but I think I'm a reasonable person to look at a situation and in no way can they be considered the same club. It's just, they can say it all the time, but it's a bit like in life, if some people tell a lie long enough and it almost becomes the truth. Some people just tell a lie and they sort of normalise the fact that it is a lie. But that's the way it is. They're not the same team. They're not the same club. They died.
The club change added fuel to the rivalry's fire, and so has the addition of social media as a new way for the opposing fans to grill each other.
Having the ability to speak directly to one another on social media has led to, I think, a more challenging environment than there was even potentially there in decades gone by. I think there's perhaps even more animosity now than there was in previous generations between the two clubs.
In a recent match between the two at Ibrox Stadium, the players ran out under an arch that read Old Firm, and fans had a lot to say about it.
For me, it's very petty. It's pretty sad, that they're doing that. What does it prove? It proves absolutely nothing. It proves that nobody uses the Old Firm apart from them.
It's Glasgow Derby. It's Glasgow Derby. Both on past.
Similarly to the rest of the world, the COVID-19 pandemic took a toll on the derby.
Just taking something away from the derby, I think a lot of fans on both sides are overbust when it comes to tickets. It used to be, 7,000 for each stadium. It created an atmosphere, it created a spectacle. That's gone. So I think in terms of the spectacle, we've lost something in recent years.
The animosity between the two runs deeper than what goes on the pitch. Historically, being a battle over religion has transformed into the battle over Scottish independence.
And I think, in terms of what Celtic probably signifies to a lot of people as a kind of underdog mentality and stuff, so I'd say a lot more Celtic fans are probably pro-Indy.
It's more to me like an undertone that runs through the everyday experience of being a supporter. You cannot escape unionism at Rangers. As I say, there is literally a portrait of the Queen, the emblem of unionism, in the Rangers dressing room, at the heart of the club.
This age-old rivalry may change names or politics or routes to chaos over time, but one thing will always remain.
I hate the Rangers. Rangers are scum.
When we beat them, it's terrific. When they beat us, I don't even read a paper for about 5 days.
Reporting in Glasgow, I'm Kelly Warner for the Center County Report. After a dismal 2020 season full of COVID issues, injuries, and bad luck, Bald Eagle is soaring again. Bald Eagle dominated Phillipsburg Osceola 49-0 to improve to 6-1. They also recorded their 4th shutout, the most in one season in school history. The Eagles opened their season with a shutout over Troy, and their only loss was also a shutout, a 21-0 loss to Clearfield. COVID is still rearing its ugly head, leaving the team without their band 1 week and without their cheerleaders this week, and causing players to miss practices. But that hasn't held the Eagles back. A key to their success was the decision to move former quarterback senior Garrett Burns to running back in favor of freshman Carson Nagel. The star of this game, though, had to be freshman Cameron Watkins, who scored 2 of the Eagles' 7 touchdowns. The freshman was just glad to do what he could to help his team.
I mean, it feels great. I mean, I love going. And I mean, we just did a great job tonight.
Head coach Jesse Nagel tries to remind his players to take it one game at a time. And besides wins, he focuses on seeing growth each week.
You know, I think, honestly, it was the first complete game I thought we played all year. You know, I thought we were playing defense great one game. You know, offensively, we were kind of searching the last couple of weeks. But I think, you know, honestly, we finally, as a coaching staff, said, okay, we're going to take what they give us.
The Eagles currently sit at 2nd in the Mountain League behind undefeated Clearfield. A late-season Rutgers game is usually a brush-off for Penn State. But it's been a rough stretch for James Franklin's squad since the Iowa loss. The Nittany Lions have won just 1 since then and have lost their last 2 at home. Despite the downward spiral, there are some bright spots, like wide receiver Jahan Dotson, a semifinalist for the Biletnikoff Award. Jahan Dotson is going to beat 1,000 receiving yards on the season in this game. It's just a matter of how much he does it by. He has 993 yards and 9 touchdowns on 80 receptions this season, and on Saturday he's taking on a Rutgers defense that does not have an answer for a player like him. Another bright spot, the defense, which will again be a key to tomorrow's game. The Scarlet Knights have a chance to be bowl eligible with a win, their first bowl bid in 7 years. Penn State hopes for a bounce-back win, and even with recent challenges, they're dialed in.
I try to keep our players and our program focused on being the best we possibly can be today, and trying to be 1-0 each week to try to keep our preparation and our approach consistent from week to week, no matter the outcome.
Besides getting back in the win column, the Nittany Lions have some other things on their mind. Some fans are questioning Franklin's postseason plans and wondering if quarterback Sean Clifford and other seniors will play their final game at home. It may be an emotional game in Beaver Stadium. I'm Kelly Warner with sports. Penn State has its home finale tomorrow against Rutgers. As the Scarlet Knights will try to spoil Senior Day, Penn State will try to work out their shortcomings and snap a home losing streak. Penn State leads the all-time series 29-2. Tomorrow's game kicks off at noon, and you can listen live on Penn State Com Radio. Now to high school football. State High is back in action tonight, fresh off their new District 6 Class 6A title after beating Williamsport last week. The Little Lions will travel to Hazleton tonight against Delaware Valley as they look to continue their push for a state title. In other action, the Central Dragons take on Bedford and Hollidaysburg, while Forest Hills and Richland head to Mansion Park for the 2A District Championship. You can catch highlights and more on this week's edition of After the Whistle. Penn State Wrestling is headed to Philadelphia after Thanksgiving break for a road duel with Penn, looking to move to 4-0 on the season. The Nittany Lions defended Rec Hall in their first home meet of the season last night against Army. The Lions dominated from the start as Roman Bravo Young was his usually impressive self. Carter Sorochi rolled to 23-5 technical fall en route to Penn State's 32-7 win over the Black Knights in the 56th straight sellout at Rec Hall. Penn State men's soccer is hosting Hofstra for a second-round NCAA tournament game Sunday at Jeffrey Field. The Nittany Lions earned a first-round bye while the Pride beat Lipscomb 4-2 last night to advance in the tournament. Penn State men's basketball took care of business in the Bryce Jordan Center last night against St. Francis Brooklyn. St. Francis got the scoring started early from the three-point arc, but senior Sam Sessom scored his personal best of 26 points as a Nittany Lion, mostly on layups. John Harris' double-double of 14 points and 13 rebounds clutched the team a W. Coach Micah Shrewsbury and his team look to build on this win as they take on Cornell on Monday. Women's basketball put on a record-breaking performance this week. The Lady Lions scored a program record 120 points, highlighted by McKenna Marisa's career-high 30 points, 11 assists, and 10 steals en route to a triple-double. The Lady Lions travel to Clemson on Sunday. That's all for sports. Now